to me speak.
Narcissistic tendencies.
Full soul with 10,000 stitches, black button eyes piercing through the madness. Stop fooling yourself. You have a hand up your. As long as I can breathe,
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
as far as I can reach.
Sucks up and takes a sudden fall.
And if you don't see,
I will always love you.
listen to me scream. Soul with 10,000 stitches, black button eyes piercing through the madness. Stop fooling yourself. You have a hand up your ascending out of the dark, unwinding the threads through the madness. Stop fooling yourself. You have a hands up your. Soul, fool's gold. Remove the stitches, unravel. Be free of the controlling hands of your eyes.
Scene. There we are. Close that. There we go. Cool. Okay. How's it going?
It's going. Glad this week's almost done.
It's been a week. It's been pretty good for me, though. I had my
Yeah.
physical this morning. went well. And then we did dinner for my sister's birthday. She turned 40 today.
Nice. How'd that go?
It was good. We just met up at a local diner that my family knows the owners of, and my sister
Nice.
likes going there. So, funny thing is, her and my brother-in-law have been doing the carnivore diet, which that's a whole thing. But
Sure.
they get there and they're looking at stuff, and I'm like, you're not going to find anything on this menu that is only meat. I want you to know that. And she knew. She's like, no, I know. So
That's funny.
I had fried smelt, which was
Ooh.
good. It's been a while since I've had that, so it sounded like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
But we did.
Yeah, we've got-
So the theme of it, everybody wore T-shirts from stuff from 1984. So my mom had a Ghostbusters shirt on. My sister had a Never-Ending Story one. My dad's was great. He wore his Detroit Tigers cap, and they found him a shirt that said Magnum Pie, but it was the pie symbol.
Nice.
So that was pretty fun. I had a Last Starfighter. I found one. I found one on TeePublic, and it was a Gunstar Academy logo. I was like, oh, I'm taking that. So
That's awesome.
now I have that shirt forever.
If only they could get that done.
That'd be great. I'd love to see a new iteration of
heard-
that.
Gary Whitta talked several times about him trying to pitch that and do it. It's like, oh,
It would
you
be
get
really
him
cool.
to do that too? Good Lord.
I mean, that movie's not perfect, but it's also kind of perfect. Like, I really enjoyed
Yeah.
The Last Starfighter. I've always liked The Last Starfighter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a sign of it's a movie of the time,
Oh, for sure.
just before special effects really started taking off, and they were still just kind of like, what?
Yeah, but what they did, I mean, the early CG that's in it is pretty good.
Yeah.
For its time, for sure. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Oh. And it's been all like just constant light rain all evening. Like not enough rain to be like heavy rain, but also not like no rain. It's just this constant drizzle, which I mean is fine. We need rain, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Bella?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get dumped on last night, but it ended up not coming through too bad. So
Well, that's good.
yeah.
Hopefully everybody out there is having a good Thursday as well as we roll into the coming weekend.
Mm-hmm. We've got a shindig to go to tomorrow night, so
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Julia's works for the Make It Volunteer Clinic, and they're basically a clinic that doctors and stuff volunteer their time to help people who can't afford
Okay.
normal stuff. And so this shindig is basically the one thing that they don't spend money on their patients, and they actually spend money and celebrate all the doctors and stuff who give their time.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you say we do a show?
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I mean, I watched an episode and everything for it, so
Yeah. I'm probably going to get a few things out of order again. I sort of had to watch it in chunks, but I got
Okay.
the mains of it, but you can help me
yeah.
roll through that as well. All right.
Show enough.
Well, here we go then. We will start in a 3, a 2, 1. And welcome into Let's Watch Highlander. This is Let's Watch Highlander, The Raven, episode 19, The Manipulator. And here to talk with you about it, as we always are, I am Travis, a.k.a. TV's Travis, and that is the Audie Norman. Audie, how are you?
Doing good. It's been a week, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Ready for the weekend.
Same. It hasn't been bad, but it's been busy. But it's fine.
Exactly.
I've also got just stuff as I'm getting ready to for my Vegas trip in a couple of weeks, and I'm just getting things together for that and all that good stuff. But no, it's been a pretty decent week, and we had a pretty decent episode of The Raven, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Did some things that I was glad to see. Well, I'll hold my like overall thoughts for it
Mhm.
until the end. But I think first, I think what
Sure.
we need to do is we need to talk about what happened.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so Nick and Amanda are out just kind of walking around, bantering. I think Amanda's badgering him about a phone call with somebody the night before, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
taking all of his cash and buying a bunch of flowers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Um, and while this is going on, we see somebody coming up on like a pair of rollerblades and some other guy pull up in a taxi and get out.
Right.
And he runs over to Nick and Amanda, immediately knows who Nick is, gets his
Mhm.
attention, and then says somebody is trying to kill him.
Right.
And right as he says that, the guy on the rollerblades pulls out a gun and just starts opening fire, broad daylight in the middle of Paris.
Somebody's trying to kill me. Really? As somebody tries to kill him.
Yeah.
Really.
Yep. So,
And then he gets away. I gotta say, I love the stunt of the skater skating over to his buddy on the motorcycle and just hopping on to
yes.
get
Oh,
away.
that was great. Hops on, just feet out, and take off on the
Uh-huh.
bike. So we get our opening credits, and then Nick and Amanda are with this guy. His name is his last name. He's
Tim Helfet.
Helfet. That's it.
Yeah.
Who I thought looked familiar to me, but upon further review and watching of the episode, no, he's no one that I know. But
Mhm.
there was a point where I was like, he looks familiar, but I think it's the floppy, curly brown hair. He reminded me a little
Yeah.
bit of somebody that was in an episode, I think, of the original series, the original Highlander.
Mhm.
So anyway, he wants some help. This is when they find out he's a watcher, right?
No, it's later. They have
Okay.
no idea at this point. He's just
Oh,
telling them
right.
that he's a reporter.
Yes.
His dad was a reporter
Mm-hmm.
and looking into Vladimir Renkov.
Right. And
That gives him that story.
Rankov killed Helfet's father,
Mm-hmm.
and Helfet is trying to uncover more information about him, and he needs a computer that is at a chateau
Mm-hmm.
of
For
Anton Novak.
yeah, who's the prime minister of some country. I don't
Yeah.
think we're ever told
Nope,
what
just prime
country
minister
or what
of
to do
an unnamed Eastern European country.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs them to steal it. Amanda, of course, is like, no, we're not going to do that.
No, not at all.
And then he mentions that they travel with that computer and a bunch of diamonds. And she's like, diamonds, you say? Well, maybe we can go steal this after all.
Mhm.
So now she's in. So her and Nick break into the chateau, and they find the laptop, but it's of course, secured behind some sort of electronic
Mhm.
lock. I don't really know exactly what it was supposed to be. Like, I guess if you
Yeah,
tampered with it, it would destroy the computer or something.
something like that. They insinuated that that's what would happen.
Yeah. While Amanda is working on trying to break into that, they feel an immortal's presence because we
Mhm.
cut to Rankov and the Prime Minister Novak having a discussion about peace talks of some kind.
Right. It's really funny because when uh Helfit was talking about it earlier, I got the impression that Renkov was definitely a bad guy against Novak, and it's like, no, he's his advisor. What?
Yeah,
Okay,
it
sure.
seemed odd, but then Rankov and Amanda. Turns out Rankov is an immortal because he feels Amanda's presence. Amanda feels
Hmm.
him, so she knows. Well, our cover's blown. By the way,
Right.
Nick and Amanda break in during the day dressed as guards.
Yeah, because it's so easy to get guard uniforms of this particular country, apparently.
Sure, yeah, they just got them at every corner store. Um, so Amanda's like, all right, our cover's blown. We got to get out of here. So they hide on a balcony just outside the
Mhm.
room. But then the rest of the guards see them because they're just standing there.
Because yeah, because the rest of the guards looked up.
Yep. Which, I mean, good on them. Most guards don't. These guards looked up.
Hmm.
Uh,
Sure.
so Nick and Amanda have to jump down, breaking both of them breaking both their legs in the process.
Right. Except not, because
Except
this is
no.
their show.
Yep. Except it's TV, so they just got up and ran away.
It's exactly the note I had written down. That would destroy these legs.
Yep. It's like, well, there's 4 destroyed knees right there.
Mm-hmm.
So they run, and they not only run but shoot their way out.
Yeah.
Taking a few guards with them, they get away. This is when we see Tim's Watcher tattoo. Right at the end of this, as they're getting away, we see Tim has a Watcher tattoo.
Yeah, but first we get a little flashback.
That's right, because as Amanda and Nick are pinned down behind a statue or something at that point, Rankoff comes outside, and him and Amanda make eye contact, and we get a quick flash of him with like a mustache in a different costume, and then we get a full-on flashback.
Right.
And in this flashback, Amanda is sword training with a young woman, Christina, the Duke's daughter, I think.
Apparently, yeah.
I did love the moment where the old woman comes up to get Christina, and Amanda tries to stop her, and the woman's like, well, I will tell the Duke. And so she just puts a sword up to her. You would need a tongue in order to do that. Like, all right. So Amanda's teaching this young girl, and also teaching her how to be independent.
Yeah.
When Rankoff rides up with some other men, he's an envoy for somebody, a different duke. And turns out what we find out is that Christina's father and this other duke, or lord, whoever he is, are at war.
Right.
There's a conflict going on. Rankoff works for this other guy and is basically like, the war's going to keep going unless you surrender. And he goes, we're not going to surrender. He goes, well, there's another option.
Well, it doesn't even get that far. This is where, like, she's like, do you think they're OBPs? And then into the flashback. It was, like, super short.
Oh, right. So, let's see. So Nick...
And then we get Nick and Amanda escaping, and that's when we see Helfet's tattoo.
Yes. Okay. Then we see
because he was over there, quote unquote, watching. I was like, oh, okay, so he's good at this, professionally trained.
So now we know Helfet is a Watcher, and Amanda is upset because she feels like she's been used.
Right.
Did she come to the conclusion he was a Watcher on her own, or is that when they get to his place? They get to his place.
I was going to say,
that's right, because they go to stakeout. They stake him out.
Yeah, they stake him out, which we find Amanda's not very good at all.
Well, so they have to they talk to like cab drivers and valets and all these things to find the guy, find out where he was staying, and then they do the stakeout. And yeah, Amanda's terrible at it. She has no attention span, no patience. She's doing her nails, she's listening to music, she's doing everything, and Nick is like, we're just gonna sit here and wait. And he keeps sending her to get coffee. And
it was funny until it got good, and they had a decent conversation about who Nick was talking to on the phone. Turns out it was his ex-wife. Get a little banter about that, and then Helfet shows up.
Yep. So Helfet shows up, so they go get him, go after him, and this is when they find out that he's a Watcher.
Yeah. I mean, this is when they confirm it. Amanda walks in, and it's basically she knew. There's no good reason why she knew he was a Watcher, but it's pretty much like, okay. It's one of those things where it's like, how would Amanda know that? But in this show, and after so long, it's like, that's forgivable, whatever.
But also, I think my best guess is that she figures because there was another immortal there, that it would have had to have been a Watcher that set her up. Because she feels like she was set up. So she's upset with Helfet. And Helfet's like, look, I am a journalist. My father was killed by Rankoff. I need help. I need help taking him down. He's like, Amanda, you know what he is. He focused on Amanda because of her past with Rankoff. And he had a chronicle.
That was cool.
Yep. So he had her chronicle, or one of them, which had the information on it. And then we get another flashback to Amanda remembering what happened with Rankov.
Right.
So the long and short of it is Rankov talks to the Duke and is like, well, you have a daughter. And if your daughter marries the son of, my employer, that can help broker the peace.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Duke's like, okay, fine. And that's when Rankov says, oh, but, there's a dowry.
Mm-hmm.
You need to pay for this. And the Duke reluctantly agrees, gives him the money to take back.
All the while, Amanda's talking to Christina about, being a strong woman,
Yep.
doing what you need to. You're destined to be leader of this country someday, somehow.
Because Christina
Oh.
overheard the talk of marriage. She was
Mm-hmm.
walking by and happened to overhear that. So now she's kind of going through her own little mini crisis of like, what's going to happen? What's going on? Amanda's like, you're fine. You're strong. You're going to be a leader.
Right.
All this. And this is when Christina basically says, look, I'm going to do this to save people.
Mm-hmm.
What was her line was, if it would save one of my people, I would marry the devil. I think it was
Right.
paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically what she said.
No, that was pretty close.
And Amanda even says, like, spoken like a true queen.
Mm-hmm.
So the Duke pays the dowry to Rankov, who's going to take it back to his employer, his master.
Mm-hmm.
And Rankov leaves with the two men to take the money back. But partway down the road, fakes that his saddle is broken. One of the guards that's with him, one of the men, comes over to check it, and he stabs him. And then tells the other guard, come over and check on the man. The other guard toddles over, and he stabs him and takes the money. I did find that really funny. It's like, oh, wow, I guess I'll just walk over here. Yeah, why not? Like, dude,
Yeah.
you were 20 feet away from it when it happened. But anyway.
Yeah, very good guards.
And so Rankov is going to hide the money, not take it back, thus keeping the war going. Because
right.
And he'll make
well,
off
not
with the
take it
money.
back and pin the whole. He killed my guards on the Duke, and
Right. So
keep
he's
this
hiding
thing
the
going.
money to go back and tell his boss, hey, here's what happened. And then the war
Yeah.
can keep going, and he's got all the money that the Duke paid.
Mm-hmm.
But Amanda confronts him because she followed the money.
Yeah.
And she was following it to ensure it got to the other warring Duke to secure everything for Christina. She was doing this for Christina.
Mm-hmm.
So Amanda confronts him. They have a little tussle. She gets the better of him and knocks him down a hill.
Right.
And then takes the money because she watched him hiding it. And takes it back to the Duke. Right? She takes it back
to the other guy.
Yeah.
She basically becomes the new envoy
That's what it was.
to say, hey, yeah, we're good with the wedding thing. So, and here's the dowry.
Yep. So now we skip forward to Christina's wedding day.
Right.
She's nervous, but she's seen, her soon-to-be husband, I guess, for the first time.
Yeah.
And now is all like giddy about it, but nervous.
Giddy, nervous, but like, at least I did okay. I got a good-looking one.
And Amanda's there for her, and she's all happy and all this. And just as the ceremony is getting ready to start, Rankov appears. Amanda feels his presence. He's got a crossbow, and before Amanda can get to him, he shoots Christina with the crossbow, killing her.
Right.
So that's their history. Amanda now has a vendetta against him, but she didn't want to leave Christina's side, so she didn't go after him. And Helfit is trying to use that as a way to get Amanda to go after Rankov, which of course, and she's not having any of it.
Yeah, she's not cool with this scene, so she leaves.
So she leaves, and right after she leaves, Nick is still there with Helfit. They're sitting there when dude just busts in the room, tumbles into the room for some reason. I'm not really sure what that movie is about. But it did give Nick and Helfit enough time to dive behind the bed as he tries to shoot them. Nick shoots the guy, killing him. Helfit runs, and that's when we see that the guy that came in with the gun, also a Watcher.
Yeah, Watchers all over the place, apparently.
So now Nick is all upset because he killed a Watcher. And Helfit got away. And Amanda finds Nick at, I think, the first crime scene it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. But just before that, we get a little scene with the Prime Minister and Rankov again. And the Prime Minister basically saying, I'm going to make peace. For everybody's sake, I'm going to make peace. And Rankov's like, that's not wise. You are stupid. You are throwing away all this power and money. And Novak's just like, yeah, oh, okay. I expect your resignation by morning.
Right. So Amanda finds Nick. Nick is all upset because he killed the Watcher, and Helfet is still out there, and all this kind of stuff. And what was funny about that was there's a line where Nick says, I killed someone today. And my thought was,
Right.
Someone? That was like the fourth person you shot on that particular day. Like it wasn't anything new, Nick.
Right.
But Nick decides he's got to go after the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to get that because Rankov is still a killer. He still killed Helfet's father, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And Amanda's like, it won't work. I can't get close enough. He'll feel me. He'll feel me before I even get into the building. And then they devise a different plan.
Yeah, they do.
So Nick is wearing a headset with a camera mounted on it. And he's going to go in while Amanda hangs back watching a monitor and coaches him through how to do this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's pretty great. So Nick gets inside, finds the computer, starts to work on it when Helfet shows up.
Right.
And he's also going to try and break in, but he's not very good at it.
No, he's not.
And he gets caught.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is going on, Amanda is watching this all unfold.
Mm-hmm.
She is talking about what's going on kind of halfway while Nick is like on the other end but has no idea what's happening.
Right. She's also trying to elicit more information about his ex-wife,
Right.
saying that, here, if I distract you from thinking, you'll focus more and do this well.
Sure. So Nick gets the computer finally, but Helfet has been captured, and Rankov Rankov has him, and then brings in the Prime Minister to say, "Hey, we found this guy. He's clearly here to kill you." Trying to use that as a way to keep the war going, to get Novak to reconsider. And Novak's like, "Yeah, cool. Still doing the peace thing.
Right.
Like you saving my life doesn't, you saving my life doesn't change that." And Rankov takes the gun that Helfet had on him and shoots Novak with it. Kills the Prime Minister in order to frame Helfet and basically, again, keep things going. He just wants the war to keep going because I guess it makes him money.
Somehow.
So, meanwhile, Amanda is like playing the pronoun game with Nick and not saying what's going on. And Nick makes it all the way out. And so he's got the laptop. And that's when Amanda tells him, oh, Helfet's in there. And Nick's like, well, okay, fine. Then I got to go get him now. She's like, well, what's more important, the computer or the Watcher? And he's like, both, because it's Nick.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so they call Rankov. How they had a number to call him doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And propose a trade. They'll give him the computer, and he gives them Helfet.
Right.
And I love the response of, well, what if I just kill this insignificant one anyway? And she's like, well, what if I just take your computer to the press? And so he agrees. And he has a couple of guards take Helfet, put him in a car, and be like, if I'm not back in 10 minutes, kill him. And then goes to meet with Amanda. So he and Amanda meet in the courtyard of the chateau.
Right.
Swords drawn, ready to go at it.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Nick makes his way in, snaps the neck of one of the guards. So I guess killing that guy's not a bad thing.
Right.
That doesn't bother him. And then gets in a shootout with the other guard.
Mm-hmm.
All this is going on while Amanda and Rankov are fighting. And then the guard runs out of ammunition. So he pulls his sidearm, gets Helfet out of the car, and is using him as a human shield.
Right.
And so Nick's got gun trained on him. That guy's, trying to shield himself. And then Amanda gets the upper hand and defeats Rankov.
Mm-hmm.
She kills him. She takes his head. And the quickening distracts the guard just enough that Nick can shoot him
Right.
and put him down. So again, another guy dead. Didn't bother Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And Amanda defeats Rankov. He's done. Helfet is alive. Amanda does make a call to Joe
Right.
about Helfet, to which Joe, I love that. I just got off the phone with Dawson. He says, make yourself invisible and stay that way, and the Watchers should probably leave you alone. Because Helfet crossed the line. He broke the oath. He got involved. And he got
Yeah.
involved in a way of trying to pit and to use an immortal for his own needs. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we know that happens often and has happened,
I was gonna say.
like Joe has done that. But that's how we end things, is basically and Nick picks up the Chronicle and he's going to read it.
Right.
And Amanda says, you know what? No, you don't get to read that.
Yeah.
And that's how we end the episode. So
Mm-hmm.
I have thoughts. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about them then.
Okay.
So, what did you think of the episode?
I thought overall it was pretty good. There were some parts where it was straddling the goofy line, and I was just like, it was a bit much. But most of the episode, it was pretty good. I liked there's the whole talking to Nick about his ex-wife and figuring that out, and it was one of those times where the on again, off again, what are they doing in this relationship thing worked for me better than previous episodes because of this relationship with his ex-wife. Amanda's trying to figure this out, and Nick's being real cagey about it. We never get a good conclusion about it. But it's one of those times where their on again, off again thing between the two of them specifically feels more real because he's dealing with his ex-wife for whatever reason. We never get a reason why he's calling her specifically, or what's going on to make him call her, or why they're talking at all. We just get that, Amanda's asking, and then, especially in the car when she's, finally gets him to open up about it. And, he talks about, basically they split up because she didn't like being married to a cop and he could not be a cop. And we're like, yeah, color us surprised.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Amanda says, it sounds like you still love her. And then we get left with that just hanging there because Helfet shows up and they go into doing all the other stuff. That part I really liked. This was one of those episodes where I think for the first time in this series, at least, the flashback really didn't work as well for me. I think they didn't cut it up right. It was a little too long, not done the best. And so it did its job, but I think it could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It was a good episode, but I had some there were some issues. The stuff with Nick was strange to me because it's Nick and we know that, but for him to get so upset over shooting the Watcher when we just saw a scene before that with him mow down, because he shot 2 or 3 guards on their way out from the chateau the first time, and then kills the other 2 guards without hesitation the second time.
Right.
But he got all busted up about the Watcher. It just felt off.
And I think that could have been something easily resolved if Amanda talks to Joe about it and they figure out what's really going on, figure out which side Helfet is on, realize he's rogue, and I would have it be Nick's more upset that he killed an innocent quote unquote man, as in the Watcher who's trying to get Helfet, except for that guy's just trying to kill Helfet. And I'm like, okay, well, the Watchers aren't exactly, the best of guys in this episode either. So
yeah,
it's a lot of everybody's in the gray area, but Nick still thinks he's Mr. Boy Scout. It's like, not really.
Yeah, it was. I think that was part of my issue. It was cool to see the Watchers again. I like them reintegrating the Watchers because we haven't seen or heard really of the Watchers since the 2-parter with Joe. And those were the only 2 episodes they've been involved at all in this series. Were the 2 episodes with Joe Dawson, and that is a little annoying just because the Watchers were such an important part of the mythology built during Highlander the series, and then to just basically forget about them for this whole thing is a little odd. But then they're so, again, tonally off and mismatched. And like, you've got Helfet, who is a Watcher, but apparently not a Watcher. We don't know enough about his background.
Right.
He's a Watcher, but he crossed a line that Amanda mentions, but we don't see any other Watchers except for the guy that tries to shoot him. And we don't know why that guy's trying to kill him. We don't know.
Right.
Like, we don't. Nothing has told us, though, in this series that the Watchers would do that. And they're supposed to be different than they were before. So that just felt a little off. Like, there's just a couple too many things. We don't know enough about Novak and the war. It's just random, country at war talking about peace. Rankov doesn't want that because Rankov, bad guy.
Right.
That's okay, but we don't have any other information. And so, is Novak really a decent guy that just wants peace? Because they try to allude to that with like, where were you 10 years ago? You were a second-rate teacher, blah, blah, blah. That's as much as we get out of him. So when he gets shot by Rankov, it's like, bummer. But it's hard to connect to that and feel that betrayal the same way. So it's just, I think you could have gotten away with maybe not having the Watchers trying to kill Helfet as well. And instead have him just be a Watcher who has maybe he has gone rogue, maybe he hasn't, but the people that are trying to kill him are Rankov's men, and Rankov knows who he is. Maybe. Yeah. Something like that, I think, helps to clear the waters a little bit. And then on top of it, I think we spent too much time in the flashback. Because you're right, it didn't add as much. It had more runtime with less utility than other flashbacks have had. So, like, you could have gotten the point across a lot quicker. Or you make that more of a focus, more of a reason for Amanda to be upset with Rankov and going after him instead of, like, even if she's feeling like she's being used by Helfet, if she's that upset enough to dedicate the quickening to Christina, she would have just taken the opportunity to go after him.
Right.
So, I don't know. It just felt a little all over the place.
Yeah, definitely one of those where it's like, here's the stakes, but we don't know what the stakes are actually from. Like, but bad guy does bad things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I think also hurts it a little bit because, we have said a lot of times, like, yeah, just have a bad guy to have a bad guy. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you do that too many episodes in a row, it does start to feel repetitive. And it would be nice to have a little more depth to a character than just, he's a bad... Because not only is Rankov just a bad guy, but he's just like generically a bad guy. He doesn't do anything specific.
Yeah,
it's odd.
He's a bad guy because we've been told he's a bad guy.
Yes. So, again, good, not great, not terrible. We've seen worse, we've seen better.
Right.
It's a very kind of middle of the road, going on, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, which makes it that more... I wish it was better because of the back and forth we're getting between Nick and Amanda. Like, it feels like a very interesting episode for their relationship, but it's put in the middle of this episode that's not very good anywhere else. So,
yeah, I mean, you really could have had no present day or no flashback, and I don't think it would have hurt anything. My guess is they got a really good deal on a bunch of costumes because they definitely had plenty of costume going on there. I just, I don't know. It was a little bit too much because I did like the Amanda Nick stuff and her prying into his life a little bit more and him kind of pushing back on it. And then at the end being like, well, why is my life got to be an open book and yours isn't? And she's like, because I said so, which
Mm-hmm.
totally makes that's a complete 100% Amanda answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's yeah, like I liked aspects of this episode. I liked again Elizabeth Grayson and Paul Johansson's chemistry has gotten so much better as the series has gone
Mm-hmm.
on. I think Miles Richardson as Rankoff was fine, but he was one
Sure.
note.
Yes.
Um, Helfet, I think, was interesting. Is cool to see a Watcher, and I think could have been an interesting storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It just there was a little bit too much trying to cram in here, and so none of it really got to fully marinate.
Yeah. For the
And
most part, I agree.
so that's why again, good, but not top, not a top tier
Yeah.
episode of the series, which is fine. They don't
Mm-hmm.
all have to be winners, but it is a little disappointing. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed.
Mm-hmm. It was funny that the one thing else I'll say about this episode, I was like, man, this house and stuff looks really familiar. And I'm pretty sure it's the one they used in the episode of the regular series when it was the one episode without Duncan at all.
Oh yeah,
Or
I
anybody with I forget the couple that she was immortal, he
yep
was, the
yeah.
bestie.
I think they've used that chateau a couple of times.
They probably have. It's just that's the one that came to mind.
Yeah,
So
that would have been the most recent one we would have seen it in. So yeah, that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Flashbacks, by the way, take place in 1565. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are winding down. We only have a few episodes
gosh.
left. It's crazy.
No.
It's really we have 3 episodes left of this show.
Yeah, we do. Mm.
Now next week, next episode, let's see, is episode 20, The X Files, EX Files.
Oh my gosh.
Nick's ex-wife Lauren, a lawyer.
Mm.
Oh, he was married to a lawyer who didn't want to be married to a cop. Plot thickens.
Interesting.
She shows up asking him to protect her as she prepares for a case in which she will prosecute Dr. Julian Heller and his company for harvesting organs for sale on the black market. Meanwhile, Amanda struggles with Nick's request for her to stay out of it because she and Heller, an immortal, have unfinished business.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to get interesting. So that's going to be the next episode. The X Files. Clever name. As we get closer and closer to the end. Now, if you do like this show,
Yeah.
you can watch us record it live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/tvstravis or now live over at youtube.com/@tvstravis as well. So if you feel like watching it live, you can do that and chat with us. You don't have to, though. It comes out as a podcast everywhere you get your podcasts. So check it out there. And I am on all of the social medias as TV Stravis. Love to talk all sorts of pop culture stuff. Highlander especially. I saw some quotes from Henry Cavill today talking about he's been he says, "You think you've seen me do sword work before? Ho ho ho! Wait until you watch this one."
Oh my gosh.
He's
I
getting
can
geared up.
only
And
imagine.
I'm getting excited. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's good stuff. And Audie, you're on the socials as well.
Yes, you can find me at the Audie Norman. Also
Excellent.
willing to talk and chat nerdy with you.
Yes, always. So until next episode, The X Files, just remember that there can be a whole too much flashback. I got nothing.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing this time either. Just like this episode.
Yep. That might be the perfect ending for this muddy episode. It's just a muddy flub of an ending. Kind of perfect. All right. That is saved.
Yes.
I'm looking. I don't recognize anybody coming up in this next episode. Julian Wadham. He looks familiar. No. I don't know.
Let's see.
Nope. Hmm.
Love one guy's just credited as man.
Man. Oh, yeah. Well, at least he's got a photo.
Mm-hmm.
They got quite the chin, too. Holy crap. And I have never heard of this guy. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that'll be
Yeah.
interesting. 3 episodes to go. It's so weird.
I know. That's crazy.
We've been doing this show for so long.
I know.
All right. Well, stream for anybody that's hanging out in the Twitch channel. Thanks for hanging out with us. And
Yes.
we will catch you on the next one. And I will be back for sure on Sunday with the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren
Ooh.
Punisher.
Ooh.
So, and maybe something on Saturday. We'll see how the weekend shakes out. But until then, stream. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.